Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the last session, we discussed the use cases for Terraform. In this session, we will be focusing more on hands-on. We will be deploying Terraform code on top of AWS and we will be creating the AWS infrastructure for that. Before doing so, we also need to install Terraform on our system. So I'll be discussing steps to install Terraform. So let's move on to the installation page. Just gonna go ahead and open the install Terraform page. And installing Terraform is pretty straightforward. You just have to run few commands. I'm using Mac as the operating system, so I'll be just following the commands that are mentioned here. And you can do the same thing for Chocolatey on Windows, and you can do the same thing for Linux as well. Now, moving on to the command line. So I'm just gonna open my command prompt. Uh, Let me clear this for you. As you can see, I have already installed Terraform. So I'm just gonna uninstall it and show you the process how we can install the Terraform. So I'll just do, alright. So installing Terraform is pretty straightforward. You just have to run few commands as I mentioned before. It uses Homebrew as a package manager, and that is very famous package manager. If you are not aware about that on your system, you can just go to this particular link and copy this command and run it on your system. It will install Brew on the macOS. And then I'm just gonna copy this command and just gonna run this command here on the terminal. So it just this particular command, it basically taps the repository. So when I say tap, basically it configures HashiCorp as a repository. Now next thing I'm gonna do is installing the Terraform. So yeah, that's pretty easy. Like you just have to run few commands and you will be able to install Terraform on your computer. Moving on to the next thing, I'll just quickly go through the installation for Windows. Again, Windows also have Chocolatey as a package manager. So if you don't have that, you can just go to this page and click on install. If you scroll down, you have to provide your email address and then choose individual as a choice. Uh, and then you just have to run the command on the PowerShell. Once you run those commands, you will be able to install Chocolatey. Once you have Chocolatey, the next command is pretty straightforward. You just run the choco install Terraform. So that's all is needed for installing the Terraform on top of Windows. Now moving on to the Linux. So for Linux, you have multiple commands and you can use those commands to install the required software. The first command here is just update the system packages and then install the software. The next package gets the GPG key. GPG key is required to validate if the package is coming from the right repository or not. After that, you just run few more commands and then you add the official repository to your system. You run the apt update command and then you install the Terraform. So it's pretty straightforward. But if you face some issues in this, please comment down on the video. I'll be happy to create another step-by-step tutorial to install Terraform on the Linux systems. Once you have Terraform installed on your system, the next thing you should be doing is installing the AWS command, AWS CLI. So installing AWS CLI is also pretty straightforward. You just have to download the package from AWS and then install it on your system. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click on this AWS system. And then if you want to install AWS CLI, I'll just open this link. All right. So installing this is again pretty straightforward. As I mentioned, it depends upon your operating system, which operating system you are using. So for Linux, you are just going to run this command, which is like this command. You just copy it and then paste it, and you will be able to run it. And then you will call that particular zip. So basically, you are downloading that AWS CLI version to zip on your system and then installing it. I'll be just going through the macOS system because I have macOS system with me. So I'll just click here and I'll just go to command line installer. I'm just gonna copy this particular commands, go to the terminal and just paste those commands here. And I'll be able to download that package. It's asking me for the password, so I'm just gonna provide my password here. And the next step is pretty straightforward. You just run a couple of commands, uh, and then you will be able to install AWS CLI as well. So this is how we install the AWS CLI. So, and then you can just check if AWS CLI is working or not. So either you can run AWS or you can run which AWS, which basically tells you if the AWS is installed in your system or not. So I'm just gonna run which AWS and it's installed. In this video, we were able to set up the Terraform CLI on the local machine. We were able to install the AWS CLI on the local machine. The next step would be installing a local stack software on your local system to test out the AWS simulation locally. That will help us to save cost as well as it will be very fast. Since you run everything locally, you don't need to pay anything for the AWS account. So the next video would be interesting. For now, that's all I got for this video. If you like the video, please subscribe my channel and share my channel with your friends. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much, guys, and I'm hoping to see you in the next class.